pound dollar. Okay, so these dollar pairs are bullish, way above this moving average, but like I said, the pound is weakening a bit, so we're gonna have to wait here for a few things. We'll set up this chart here and we'll figure out our monthly range. I do still think it's bullish, but you can see last month didn't close very well. So, well, actually, this is where it gets iffy. So, last month didn't close well, and there is a resistance line here. So, I would actually, and because I do think the pound is relatively bearish, I would say, I'm going to delete this because it's in my way. I'll just remember that it's there. I would say I'd be looking for a short position on pound USD. Counter trend trading, so you got to make sure your entries are good, but that would be my take. So it moves about 500 pips in a month, well, about 550, which I think I have set up here. Yep, moves about 550. So find our high and our low area here, something at like 129. It's probably right. You can see this daily is already breaking this recent low here. So 129 and 123.5 would be 500 pips, 550. And then what we got to do is figure out an entry. So you can see price has definitely got some bearish structure on this 4 hour. So makes its leg, pulls back up, new lows, comes up, new lows. Well, it's retesting this area here. But my entry is going to be right here. As of right now, something like this, where it had some recent resistance. I want price to come back up here, retest it, and then head back down. So, and price did just break below this 4 hour moving average. So even though it is bearish on, or sorry, it's bullish on the daily, it's now bearish on the 4 hour. So it's a good sign that the momentum is switching. If you look on the 1 hour, way below it. So I would look for something like this. Today is printing a pretty big candle. It's got about 20 pips left to move in the daily range. So we'll most likely pull back a little bit relatively soon. You can see there's some bottoms here that it might run into and then pull back a bit. So no rush on this one. We can see a lot of bearish momentum though, which is nice. But I want it to pull back a bit. I want it to pull back a bit to this zone. And then just to make sure, and then we'll make sure that our structure and everything else aligns, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, all that. And then we will target this bottom zone, which might be a stretch. We don't know if price will make it this low. But then you would be testing the moving average very close. So I do think the dollar itself is also pulling back, which would push this pair upwards based on those fundamentals. But I don't think it's enough to overcome the fact that the pound is losing its value. So we gotta wait for price to come back up to here, get an entry, make sure structure shifts, and then place stops. If we're going to use stops, we'll place them above this zone. And you're looking for a 10 plus R. 10 times make 10 times the money you're risking, which is good. There's a mini zone here, so this would be nice for price to break on the 4 hour. You can actually shrink this down a little bit. So you need price to break this area here. I'm going to set an alert, and that's if price breaks this area and keeps going, then we can consider a trade with the momentum down here, because there is some bearish momentum for sure. Like you can see this came down, came back up, pressing down again. Big 4 hour candles below the moving average. So there is quite a bit of bear momentum in this already, but I would just like to see a little bit more structure set up. Pull up and then pull back down kind of thing. Especially if we can get back into this zone, then we get a much better risk to reward. And you can see that there's actually some daily wicks here, whereas right here there's none. So we don't know We don't know where the resistance is down here, but we know there's resistance up here, so I would like to enter up here ideally. So that is pound dollar.